Hello, my Facebook friends, and happy Friday. I love Fridays so very much. It's like the launch into the weekend. And then I think of those of you who are like, whatever, Rachel, today's my Monday. The Friday doesn't mean anything to me. Well, for me it does, and I'm going to celebrate it. And I hope you can at least celebrate with me. Maybe you're on a lunch break and you can and you can kind of celebrate it. But yeah, I've been talking about how amazing I've been feeling. I've been talking about how these products, these clean, incredible products, have seriously changed my life. Like just I can't. I don't know how to put into words how well I feel. Also, oh, hey, Lenora. Also, if you've been following me, you know I've been complaining about this broken capillary on my nose. I have no foundation on, clearly, no foundation on, and it's almost gone. Like it's it's blowing my mind, okay? Blowing my mind a little bit. I went into the customer testimonial group and I was like, look at all these people, look at their skin, look at their hair, look at their, like, everything, look at how good they're feeling. Like, it's not just me. And that's what makes me excited. I mean, I can feel well if I try hard enough. Well, I couldn't with that damn stomach issue, but I do now. I cannot even tell you the last time I had a stomach ache. And that is incredible for me because it's just constant. It was just constant. But I thought I would kind of transition because I've been sharing so much and I've been talking to you guys so much. And I want to share a little bit more about the why I do what I do. Why do I focus on health? Why do I focus on wealth? Why do I focus on community? And hi, Stacy. Hi, Susan. And I thought, who best to share this with you than my amazing friend, Jeff. Jeff has been, I want him to come on, waiting for him to, all of these slow social things. But, okay. All of these things together, when, oh gosh, there's just so much passion and fire that wants to fly out of my face. There's Jeff. When you are feeling well physically, when you're feeling well physically, when you're feeling healthy and you don't have chronic pain, then your mind is better able to be focused and clear, and you can be happier. Like, the stress just kind of, it was up here and now it kind of comes down here. Hey, Jeff!
Hey, we did it! Okay.
I'm so excited you're here. So Jeff is going to share what he has had with experiences. And I want to introduce Jeff to y'all real quick. So this is my dear friend, Jeff Belleville. Met him a month ago, clicked instantly, thought he was amazing, a whole wealth of information and education. And he's just amazing. He's been in network marketing for 15 years. He's been in our current company for 6 years. He has climbed to the top of everything. And you know what's crazy to me is Jeff, he's been here for 6 years. He has, I mean, he's gone really, really big, and he still reaches out to me. I mean, menial me, to say, hey, Rach, do you want to go live together? Do you want me to do this with you? And I'm like, I cannot believe there is a leader so high up. I mean, I've been in network marketing for a long time. This is astounding. The level of assistance and help and cheering that you get from these really, really high up people in the company. It's just like, I want everybody to do this. I'm like, listen, you have Jeff, you have me, you have all these awesome people in your back pocket. And it's crazy. It's just crazy. Jeff owned a biofeedback practice for 11 years, and he had over 1,000 clients, which is kudos to you, Jeff. He's a 7-figure earner with the company. I love that. I'm not going to share his story, but I just discovered yesterday where he came from, because I was like, why did you go to network marketing? We're always interested. Like, you know, the stigma of network marketing and direct sales is incredible. And people get afraid. Like, they're like, I don't know, I couldn't see success. Why not? And Jeff's going to share why. I mean, 7-figure earner, and he's going to share where he came from, and he has seen success. You can see success. I can see success. We don't need to work to make somebody else money. We need to work to make ourselves money. Our families, our lives should come first before anybody. And when you find the right company that can lead you to that, it's just incredible. Oh gosh. He's traveled to 29. I did not see that. 20. I didn't know this. I just was reading on him a little bit. I'm so sorry, Jeff. It just caught me by surprise. He has traveled to 29 countries in the last 3 years. 3 years. That's amazing. Let's see, last 3 years. Although when I lived in Europe, I did travel to somewhere. I go Germany, England, Holland.
Yeah, right.
I mean, those little ones, but it's not going to add up. It's not going to add up to 29 for sure. I mean, Europe's only so big. And he's an executive coach. He has done executive coaching. That's enough. My dogs are going to bark. They hear something. Oh gosh, probably a cardinal out on the bird feeder. But he's done executive coaching for big businesses. His leadership and his passion just flow. So thank you so much for taking the time to join, Jeff. And I will let you have the reins for a little bit.
Rachel, I'm so excited that we are live together. This is an amazing moment, and it's been so fun to get to know you. Some of the amazing things that I've learned about you just recently, I'm just like, wow, this is absolutely incredible. This partnership's insane. Like, we're going to the top. Anyway, but you know, I love our conversation because there is this weird stigma, and I just remember, like straight up, this is where it all began for me. Mm-hmm. I was a meat carver at Hometown Buffet at 17 years of age.
I love it. I love it. The meat carver.
Now, I'm not trying, if you are a meat carver at Hometown Buffet, please just know, I say this in all respect, I think that's what drove me to network marketing.
They probably know.
I mean, I just remember this gal would come through the line and she'd ask for at least 3 pounds of ham every day. And anyway, point is, I don't know what about that moment of 2 months of my life, I just started questioning whether I was on the right track. Have you ever been at that place in life where you just wonder, am I going in the right direction? You know, and it only took 2 months of employment for me to realize that there's gotta be a better way to do this whole life thing, you know? And it was almost kind of like, you know how when people like pass away, their life flashes through, you know, in front of their eyes. And I felt like as a meat carver at Hometown Buffet, my life was flashing before my eyes. And I'm going, I don't like this movie. I want to change this movie. How can I go out and change my life? And at that point, one of my mom's friends was in network marketing, and she said, you know, you may want to look at this. I went to my first opportunity meeting, and it was literally like the clouds parted, you know, and like, it was like, oh my gosh, there's a better way. Mm-hmm. And I just remember making an internal decision in that moment that my family deserved time and money freedom. Mm-hmm. I made an internal decision and a commitment that I was going to do what it took to get that level of freedom in my life, because, you know, I actually was at a crossroads at 17. You can imagine. I was going, I either go to college or I pursue this dream that just came out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And so I skipped the college scene.
Good for you. No payments.
And back then you didn't do that. That was like,
no.
Grateful I had a supportive family. But I just remember I went to my first event in the industry, and I filled up this notebook. And in this notebook, I wrote down what's called a main definite purpose statement. It's where you describe your future, right? It's where you describe your destination. Kind of like Stephen Covey says, start with the end in mind, right? And I just remember detailing this out. And one of my mentors looked at it and goes, go a little deeper, get a little bit more specific about what you want. And I'm like, oh gosh, okay, I gotta really like, whew, you know? So yeah. I'm like detailing everything out. And I kid you not, that main definite purpose statement that I wrote all those years ago came to pass in every single flipping detail. It was nuts. I mean, I put in there, become a millionaire before the age of 30. I described my wife perfectly. Like, it was crazy. Catherine's like in my notebook. Anyway,
That's awesome.
I think for me, the stigma of network marketing was why don't other people see what I see and the possibilities and the potential here? Because yeah, I mean, 15 years in the space, you see all kinds of things. I have got some really funny stories that I've collected along the way. We'll save that for another time. But I think the biggest thing that I've noticed is I had to take that, you know, I had to see the value of what was possible and believe I was capable of creating that. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of times, like real talk, what holds people back, I mean, let's just call it what it is. I mean, it's fear. I mean, I don't care if it's fear of failure or fear of success, but in my own life, I mean, and Rachel, I know as you've scaled to the top of you know, opportunities. You've had an amazing, successful life coach. I mean, you've done some amazing things. You probably come across this as much as I have, that literally fear holds people back more than anything else. There's more dreams found in the graveyard. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm going, okay, if there was a way to never have to worry about money again, and to have the time to create the memories that matter the most, why would I not pursue that, even if it was uncomfortable and outside of, you know, my realm of knowledge? Like I'll never forget, because it's a funny story. My wife actually recruited me into a home business before we were married. So I always say she recruited me into the industry and I recruited her into marriage, but you know,
good trade.
I mean, it was a really, really good one, you know, but I just remember she was like, hey, if your why is strong enough, the how is going to figure itself out. And it was a philosophy change, because I feel like we all start with this perfectionism from childhood where we want to like make sure everything's perfect. It kind of instills in us that fear of failure, like, oh, I can't fail, you know, whereas success is a series of failures that you learn from, right? And so for me, it was a total shift, you know, and it wasn't until that shift that we started seeing some crazy success. We got into multiple six figures. Things just started, you know, exponentially growing when we got in the habit of exiting comfort and doing something we didn't know how to do, but we had the why that was strong enough to carry us through, you know? So anyway, and I know you're familiar with like all this stuff, but
it's good to share. I mean, I can only say it to people I love so many times, but I'm like, listen, it's not just me. Like when you are enlightened and you are a dreamer and you're like, it is possible, because I'm going to tell everybody, anything is possible. Do you want it? Do you want that? Maybe some people are like, I'm fine going to my work job 9 to 5. I'm fine, you know, not seeing my kids as much as I'd like. I'm fine. If you are truly fine, go ahead and log off. But if you're like, I actually would love to travel with my kids. I would actually love to be able, my kid, oh gosh, Maverick's like, I want some Gucci shoes. And I'm like, who are you? Like, I'm going to the thrift shop and buying, you know, like spade. I'm so sorry, I'm cheap as they come. But it's not, it's just funny. And I actually told him yesterday, he's 14. And I'm like, well, when you get 18 years old, join a network marketing company, my friend, because if you want money and freedom to do what you want, you're not going to find that in a 9 to 5. So it's just, you know, it's little things that I keep planting. I have full control over his mind right now. Not control, but I can push. Facebook, I can only do so much, but I'm like, you guys, my love for humans is super great. Like I think humans are amazing. I mean, there are definitely some turds that you just cannot polish, but most of them are amazing. Like those of you who are watching, you are amazing and you have so much to give. I know you do. It's just, you have to believe it and let it shine. Stop being afraid of what if they say this or what if they think this. Who cares? Who cares if somebody's going to be negative about you? It does not impact you at all. What impacts you is what you are doing with your life and how you are helping others feel about their lives, which is 100% why I took a very scary and large leap, leaving a direct sales company that I was in the top of, to say, I'm ready to help people more. I want to help people. I want to help people from the inside out. I want to help people just feel even an iota of how good I feel. And I know some people are like, gosh, you can't possibly be that happy. I am. I really am. My family's like, you drive me crazy. My kids, they're never happy. They're always miserable over something, but you're driving me crazy. I'm like, I'm sorry if my happiness offends you, but it's there. And I'm not going to dull it for anybody.
Yeah.
And if I could just give you a piece of it and just knowing, oh gosh, my girlfriend calls me every morning on her way to work, every morning. And she's like, I hate my job. Why am I doing this? I'm like, good question, honey. Come with me. But she, you know, she doesn't actually hate her job. She just doesn't love to have to travel an hour in the morning. She doesn't love that she gets home too late sometimes to cook dinner. And I'm like, you don't have to do that. But it's not my job to tell anybody what to do. It's just my job to help you know that there might be more. If you're not content where you are, change it. Change it. You can do that. Yeah. Oh.
I love this conversation, and I'm so glad you brought that up, because about 6 years ago, we went through a very just somewhat similar leap of faith, where all of a sudden, you know, everything was wonderful, and then all of a sudden everything wasn't, and we were making a transition, you know, and kind of discovering where we're at now and the project we've been launching and building for 6 years, I didn't realize that sometimes it takes trading in what's good and comfortable. I feel like there's layers to this, and every time, like, you know, we discover a new lesson around this, it's like gets a little bit bigger, right? But trading in what's good for what you know is what's God's best, you know? And for me, that concept involved walking away from a 6-figure stream of income overnight. And I freaked out. I'm not gonna lie. I completely was like in this total like freak out mode. But the funny thing is, and I'll never forget this because I had someone very special in my life share this with me, and it's served me every time there's been transition. But he said, you know, peace is your compass. Follow it. And, you know, we all know, we can all relate with that gut feeling. We can all relate with the feeling of being aligned and all that jazz. But, yeah. But for me, in the midst of these circumstantial craziness things, you know, and maybe this is relating to, I don't know who's watching this, but maybe you're at a point in your life where you just know you're called to something more. Like, you just know that when you were 17 and you were like thinking about what life could be, maybe it was bigger than what you're experiencing right now. And I feel like sometimes we just need to give ourselves permission to choose into the bigness of what this life is capable of. I tell you what, in the last 3 years, we've encountered 3 major tragedies in our life. And I don't know if maybe you've ever had a loved one with a near-death experience or lost a loved one, like went through a, you know, there's tragedies of all shapes and sizes. Mm-hmm. But what it has done to me, and compounding every single one over 3 years, has shown me that you're exactly right, Rachel. We don't have a guarantee for tomorrow. Like, mm-hmm. And that reality became so real when something so foundational is all of a sudden changed, you know, and you're going, I don't care if it's a 6-figure stream of income or it's a family member. You know, you're going through the reality of going, I know I'm here to play big, not small, you know? Yeah. And so what am I going to do today that's going to move me forward? And I just feel like that's kind of a real talk thing, is we have these things that are thrown at us in life, but the decision you made, the decision we made 6 years ago, it's rooted in the desire to help others. And I think that sometimes, you know, we get caught up in, you know, the details of things, but when we're following that compass of peace, you know, amazing things started happening, and I couldn't explain it, but all of a sudden, here we go from replacing our income in 43 days with what took 6.5 years to do before, mm-hmm. in 90 days, doubling it. And I'm just going, this is insane. I'm mm-hmm. just going to keep going. Like, you know, doesn't mean that there isn't, right? Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't mean that there's not fear there. It doesn't mean that you're like, not having negative thoughts or self-doubt or any of those things. It's just you're learning to get back up as many times as you fall down. And I think that's what prevents a lot of people from moving into their calling, you know? And so anyway, I don't know if this is totally different direction than I thought we were going to go, but I'm like, hey, you know.
I didn't know we were going life coaching, but I am down. I am all kinds of passion about life coaching, and really, and then I find, because I've been a network marketing strategist and trainer, and I create courses, I sell courses, I work one-on-one with people, and I see where they struggle. I see that they don't have support from their leaders. I see that they were left out high and dry to just hang there. And it breaks my heart, because that is what puts that negative connotation with direct sales and network marketing. When you are so excited and you join and you're like, oh my gosh, I love these products, whatever company it is. I love these products. I want everybody to have these in their hands. And then you join and nobody's there to help you. And you're like, okay, not as excited as I thought I was going to be. It's just, right. It's just a different feel. And I'm just so happy. Today is my 3-week anniversary with the company. Oh my gosh, my income has far surpassed. I mean, I knew, looking at the comp plan, I knew that there was potential, but I'm like, when am I going to hit it? Like, that type of thing. And now I'm like, this is crazy, Jeff. Like, how have I not heard of this company before? I'm so disappointed.
Well,
It's crazy. And I didn't realize that it took, what'd you say, 47 days for you to hit?
43 days to replace what took 6.5
days.
years to build.
That is
crazy.
It's crazy. And
but you know what it was? It required a leap of faith first.
Mm-hmm.
That's the crazy thing. Catherine and I were just talking about this last night before we fell asleep. We were like, you know what's crazy about these faith moments is it takes it before, like it's evidence of things unseen, right? So you're like, you've got to just, and then you get the reward of knowing, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So, and anyway, it's just interesting because that was totally what was coming up last night. Anyway, I'm so excited for you. And you hit on something really important because I think, you know, these last couple of years, everything's been online. You know, there's a lot of visibility of things. The way that we build a network marketing changes, mm-hmm. but the principles don't. Mm-hmm. And there were principles that led me to this particular project that were guiding principles that really, I think anyone watching this would help to kind of guide you as well. One is you've got to have a retention product that is relevant and mm-hmm. something that's going to be an impact. I remember actually in this journal, I wrote down, if it doesn't go up in smoke or down the drain, you're not going to make any money. And I think that that's still true today. So mm-hmm. you got to have something that changes someone's life to the point where it's not going to leave their monthly, you know,
they need it.
Regimen.
Yep.
They need it, right? And that's what I saw here was like, oh, wow, we're doing something very unique. Two is John Maxwell, when I got, it was such an honor. Like I remember when I was like sitting next to him and he's talking to me and I'm just like, I can't talk all of a sudden. You know what I mean? How that happens sometimes. Mm-hmm. I'll never forget. One of the things he said stuck with me so big. He said, Jeff, culture eats vision for lunch.
Culture
and I was like,
eats vision for lunch. Ooh.
And it kind of took me a moment, but then I realized, wow, okay, you can cast vision all day long, but what I love is culture is truly the most important thing in a company is leadership and culture. When you celebrate people from all levels of activity, behavior and background, and when you can really have that environment for people to win, it's so special. And I think that kind of reflects the way that the money flows, because a lot mm-hmm. of people are like, oh, it might, you know, we all have these preconceived notions of what network marketing is because of past experiences, mm-hmm. but sometimes that prevents us from being open to realizing what is actually possible and on the table for us now. Mm-hmm. And now is a different time than it was a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, the climate's insane. 77% of America is looking for flexible at-home income right now.
Yeah.
We have a $5,000 annual deficit per household average that people are trying to make up for right now. Mm-hmm. And I've never seen, actually, that's not true. In 2009 and 10, we saw some of this when the bubble popped in 2008 and that whole thing. Yeah. We saw literally this shift in people who were literally negative about the industry one day, all of a sudden were the most open and ready to get to work. And some of those stories inspired me so big because, you know, a lot of times we're not thinking about this, but like, you know, a lot of the people right now are saying, don't let a good recession pass you by.
I mean, truly,
which is
it's awful.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's awful and terrible.
But it's true. I mean, we are in a recession. It's not going to improve, but people's lives are still there. People still need to feel well. Why not help them? Like, what? Don't just sit by and be like, oh my gosh, this recession. What can you proactively do? Like, and there's just, I'm with you. And I get real fired
interesting.
Up.
Super interesting. Just to finish that circuit though, like you got the product line, you've got the culture and the leadership. You got to have people who know what they're doing. Mm-hmm. The startup culture freaks me out so bad because 15 years later, you see the hype culture that is, I think, what most people don't like about network marketing. It's what I don't like about network marketing. It's so funny. I don't know if you've ever seen some of those hater YouTube videos, like anti-MLMer.
Oh yeah.
Videos.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. I get such a kick sometimes, but I want to be like the anti-MLMer, you know? So like the anti-anyway.
Anti-MLM.
Because it's just funny to me that a lot of the complaints about the industry have to do with a very specific mindset of, I want to get rich quick. Mm-hmm. And that's just not the way any business works, you know? Mm-hmm. And so I would tend to actually agree with a lot of that, you know, which is hysterical because like, hello, it's been like my career, you know, we've been full-time in the industry for a decade, you know? And so, for me, I'm going, okay, when you have these ingredients in place, you attract the right people. And the next ingredient is comp. I mean, how the money flows is so important. Is it going to reward someone who's just literally putting a couple hours in a week? Like I looked at this project, God's honest truth. And Rachel, what I was like, people like me can win here. Mm-hmm. Because I was that kid with no skills, you know, I like had nothing, you know, I didn't have I was like this goofy braces, like long hair, like little, you know, went through an emo phase, you know, like I was like not voted to do well. You know what I mean?
Picture it didn't happen.
Yeah. I remember an upline leader telling my upline saying, don't spend any time on Jeff. He'll never amount to anything in the industry. You know what I mean? And I feel like there's a lot of voices in our world from like, you know, the broke uncle or, you know, anyway, people who just may have opinions about us doing network marketing. Guess what? Everyone who's had a negative opinion, and I have family members who have had negative opinions about what I do for why do they, I don't know. But end of the day, they're still where they're at all these years later. So you just have to remember that when people have opinions about what you do, they're never going to pay your bills, your retirement. They're never going to contribute to that heart vision of where you know you're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. And I had to cancel out those voices in order to just move forward. And so I feel like that sometimes people caring about other opinions holds them back too. And you just got to get rid of that, you know? Anyway, you're getting me inspired. I'm talking way too much. I'm like, this is so much fun right now.
No, I'm like, talk away. My goal, I've been going live every day. They're probably like, all right, Rachel, give me something else. And I'm giving them something else. And somebody I think is incredible. So I'm excited they get to meet you because I want your energy and your passion and your heart just radiate from you. And it's so my style. It's like a dude version and I love it. And so I'm like, all right, guys, look, somebody else exists. Like, I'm sorry, Jeff. I can't wait to meet you in person. But no, you've hit everything on. It's just, and I'm going to go life coaching just a little bit because this is what a lot of people that have been reaching out to me. One big thing is I don't want my family to think I'm doing something weird. And I'm like, would you think it's weird? Like if your family member got a job driving bus, a normal job, would you think that's weird? Why on earth would they think it's weird? And if they do, I'm sad for them because if they're taking negative energy out of their daily routine to think poorly of somebody else, that's sad. Like why? Yeah. Why take energy to focus negative energy on somebody else? Like it's useless and it's not our concern. If somebody wants to do that, it does not concern us at all. It makes me a little bit sad for them, but I'm not going to take too much sadness energy to put, I'm just going to hope for the best because they don't belong in my life. People in my life are happy and thankful and joyful or want to work on it. And I do have a lot of people that are like, oh, I'm so negative. Like, oh, they'll be honest. I'm negative. Like I can't. But when it's the people that I say, I have no desire to change my mindset, then I'm like, okay. Noted. Like we can't develop a relationship and that's totally fine. I'm not going to waste energy and I really hope they don't. Unfortunately, if they're negative, they're probably going to, but that shouldn't impact us. We are in charge of our emotions. We are in charge of our lives. By the way, stop taking Lexapro on Sunday and I still feel fantastic. The physical, like there was such mild discomfort and I was in a group. So Jeff, I've talked to you about it a little bit lately, but I was in a group that was I was expecting the worst. I was expecting these like brain zaps and nausea, diarrhea, all these things is what is expected. And because I was taking the supplements and I was like, okay, I feel so good. I have not even considered getting off of Lexapro until I started taking these and my level of energy and happiness and content and everything was up here and my stress was down here. I'm like, okay, now's the time. Now's the time to do it. And we'll see if I have to get back on, I have to get back on. And I cut down. For 1 week only. My doctor told me to go 3 weeks and then 3 weeks, like take it slow. But I'm like, I'm telling you, like, I feel so good. I'm just going to stop taking it. Wow. And I have not, I had some like weird fog going on in my head. and my feet were like slow to hit the ground, but that's been gone the last 2 days. And at this point, it's completely out of my system and I feel so good. Wow. Not that I'm telling anybody to get off their meds. Talk to your doctor before you
talk to your doctor.
I'm just saying, I'm so proud of myself.
I read my mind. I'm like,
no, talk to your doctor. But if you want some supplements to help make your transition, I got you.
Oh my gosh. It's so amazing though. I feel like this has been a collision of my passion and love for building passive income and business. I mean, if you don't have passive income, like you're doing life wrong. Like you really have to, I remember Catherine was working her traditional business when we first kind of met. And she kept asking me, like, she tells this story all the time. She's like, I would call Jeff and he'd be at the beach again. I'd call Jeff and he was on an airplane going somewhere, you know. And it's like, I think sometimes we insulate ourselves from fully imagining the possibility of what life could be like without time and money strain. Because
it's hard because we don't know a lot of people that do that. Yes.
And so it's hard for us because we're like, okay, well, we don't want to flex. We don't want to be weird. Like we're very grateful and blessed. And we know God was a big part of making this all happen. I just think sometimes I'd like to stick a USB drive in and just let people watch a movie of what their life could be like in 10 years. And I guess that's my whole purpose and my heart in coming on here with you is like, you can write that today. You can start today. You can actually write that out. It doesn't matter if you're 99 years old, 110, you know, whatever it is. That's the beautiful thing about our industry is no matter where you're at right now, you can hit the reset button. I mean, any other industry, any other job, any other traditional business, you can't necessarily do that. Yeah. And that's the beauty of having the structure of this business model is you're also not doing it alone. Like I just remember watching Catherine when she had her restaurant or watching her, you know, kind of doing other traditional business. And I'm like, man, this is so collaborative and community driven and like, let's lock arms with you. And, oh, you've got a big dream. I get to be a part of helping see that become a reality. Are you kidding me? Like, so these testimonials, like what you're just sharing about your experience, now, granted, results are always going to vary for people, but like every day I'm hearing a new story of a life changed on the health side and on the wealth side. And for me, I'm like, that's the best. We don't need a bunch of hype when you have things that actually work. And I'm referencing, you know. Yeah,
no, it's been the last week or so because now my customers have been receiving their products. And in my follow-up text messages, and I could screenshot every single one of them, and they're all amazing. And that is why I love what I do. Seeing somebody that's been in chronic pain or distress, and then saying, "Oh my gosh, like I feel so amazing," and I'm just like, "I'm so glad you feel good." Like, thank God you feel good, because when you feel well, then everything else just kind of flows, and it makes my heart so freaking happy to see people feeling well, like. Feel well. You can do this. You can find something that's going to help you feel well. And that is why I do what I do. And I love it.
Well, I love, like, I feel like, especially just getting to know you, I'm like, if we could like literally, I don't know. I'm having so much fun sharing this with you because here's what I know for everyone watching. You have to understand that the opportunity to partner with Rachel, it's such a huge blessing. I mean, I was just looking through just what I've come to learn about her leadership style, the fact that she's got this coaching backdrop, the fact that she's got the heart that she does and the passion she does to help others. I mean, I know this goes without saying, but anyone who would get a chance to work with you would be blessed in doing so. So, but I'm stoked for you because
thank you, Jeff.
Because we're already seeing such impact. And I just know as we fast forward the tape and, you know, look at what's about to happen over the coming months and years, we're going to see that ripple effect. And I know it's because of, you know, John Maxwell's quote, everything rises and falls by leadership. And so if there's even a hesitation, just let go of that and do that little leap of faith for yourself, partner with, you know, people who you resonate with, you know, vibe with your tribe. And I'm really vibing with this tribe. I just think you're awesome. And I'm so excited you invited me on. Thank you for that.
Thank you for taking the time. I so appreciate you. I'm so appreciative. I don't have words. I'm like, okay, I need your mailing address because I got to send you like a Cheryl's cookie or something. No, I'm cheap. They're $5. I can handle that, Jeff.
Okay.
So send it over because we got Cheryl's cookies coming.
No. Right.
Take some enzymes first.
I'm going to take some enzymes for sure.
Yes, it is lunchtime for me. My daughter is being patient. I gave her some pepperoni and a yogurt. I'm like, I'll be back to cook you something shortly. That's what you're dealing with.
I love it. I'm like taking notes.
Yes. Oh, good Lord.
Awesome.
Well, Jeff, I won't take up the whole day for you. And those of you who joined, thank you so much. I'm going to be going through, I didn't want to interrupt Jeff when he was there, but thank you guys for when he was talking, but thank you guys for coming on. And I see you've been commenting and I'm just going to respond this way, my little keyboard fingers, so that I didn't interrupt because he had so much beautiful things to share. So thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jeff, so much for taking time to come on, and I will see you soon.
Awesome.
All right.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye, guys.